Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a truly profound story of crisis management, trustworthy leadership, and just absolute moral integrity. We are looking at the historical and spiritual account of Prophet Joseph, zeroing in on his incredible appointment as the steward of Egypt. And listen, this isn't just some dusty ancient tale. It's literally a masterclass in how visionary leadership can pull an entire nation back from the absolute brink of disaster. We're going to break down exactly how a looming agricultural collapse was completely averted through preparation, justice, and unwavering faith. So to really grasp the gravity of the situation, we've got to put ourselves right in the high-stakes environment of the king's court. Picture this. The king turns to him and declares, "Joseph, I have found you to be highly trustworthy and wise." You see, the king had just heard Joseph's interpretation of his dream, a dream that essentially acted as a ticking clock, predicting 7 years of massive abundance, followed right away by 7 years of devastating famine. But here's the thing. It wasn't just the interpretation that caught the king off guard. It was the brilliantly comprehensive strategy Joseph casually laid out alongside it. In that moment, the king realizes he is standing in the presence of someone with unmatched wisdom regarding this impending catastrophe.
Section 1. The King's Court and Offer.
Now, that exact realization in the court brings us to a huge turning point in the narrative. The whole dynamic in the room shifts from sheer panic to decisive action, and the king makes this completely unprecedented declaration. He says, "My wish is that from today, you become the custodian of the treasures of my country. No one else can handle this responsibility but you." Now, we have to understand, this wasn't just your standard political appointment or a nice promotion. It was a desperate plea for salvation. The king is staring down the barrel of a 7-year famine that threatens to completely wipe out his people, and he is essentially handing over the keys to the kingdom's survival. He knows, without a doubt, that without Joseph's specific blend of trustworthiness and intellect, the entire nation is doomed.
Section 2. Joseph's Confidence and Acceptance.
So, how do you even react when someone hands you the survival of a whole nation? I mean, in a moment of such intense pressure, where most people would just buckle or at least hesitate, Joseph responds with this incredibly calm, unwavering dignity. He looks right at the monarch and says, "O king, I accept this responsibility. I know the best management of the country's treasures so that during the famine, the public can be saved from hunger." And notice his focus here. It is entirely on public welfare. He's not accepting this role because he wants power or prestige. He steps up because he has absolute confidence in his own ability to manage the wealth and a crystal clear intent to save people from starving. He knows he has the skills to do it, and he fully grasps what's at stake. This just brilliantly illustrates one of the most stunning reversals of fortune in all of history. Think about it. A man who is a forgotten prisoner, literally locked away in a dungeon, is suddenly elevated to the most powerful and trusted minister in all of Egypt. It's such a stark reminder of how incredible patience, a really sharp intellect, and divine favor transformed his destiny practically overnight. He goes from being locked in the dark to holding the absolute highest administrative authority in the land. It's just wild.
Section 3. Strategy for Famine Prevention.
But listen, getting the job is one thing, right? Actually executing the plan is a totally different beast. And Joseph didn't just rely on hope here. He relied on a highly visionary strategy. His administrative genius essentially broke down into 2 crucial steps. Step 1, safeguarding the grain. So during those 7 years of plenty, he oversaw this massive, systematic storage and preservation of crops across the entire country. And then step 2, keeping a meticulous account of every single grain. Under his direct supervision, literally nothing was wasted. This whole operation shows us the timeless value of strict preparation and flawless agricultural record keeping. He built this incredible system of administrative foresight that ensured the resources they gathered during the good years would perfectly sustain the nation when the dark years finally hit.
Section 4. Justice, Fairness, and Prosperity.
Now, managing the food supply is really just one piece of the puzzle during a crisis. The results of his rule went way beyond just filling up the granaries. It fundamentally transformed the social fabric of Egypt during a time when, let's be honest, societies usually just collapse. First off, a strict system of justice and fairness was established. Normally, in times of severe famine, corruption, black markets, and hoarding just run rampant. But under Joseph, the exact opposite happened. Secondly, no one went hungry despite the sheer brutality of the famine. His rationing and distribution systems were just completely flawless. And third, the people universally recognized his trustworthiness. His integrity didn't just ensure physical survival, it created a perfectly fair society during a time of extreme global hardship. He really proved that true prosperity isn't just about having resources. It's about how justly those resources are shared.
Section 5. Gratitude to the Lord and humility.
You know, it is so incredibly easy for leaders to let ultimate power go to their heads once they achieve supreme success and absolute authority. But as Joseph looks out over these thriving fields that his management helped secure, his response is just profoundly grounding. He says, "This is all the grace of my Lord who granted me knowledge and wisdom. Now is the time for me to fulfill my trust with complete honesty." The ultimate power didn't corrupt him at all. Actually, scratch that. It deepened his humility. He credits all his knowledge and all his wisdom entirely to the grace of his Lord. It's this powerful reminder that his motivation remained completely pure from start to finish. He viewed his vast power merely as a sacred trust, one that he absolutely had to fulfill with total honesty.
But here's where it gets really interesting, because this massive story of triumph actually sets the stage for an incredibly intense personal confrontation. As the famine spreads way beyond Egypt, it forces people from neighboring lands to come seeking aid. And that leaves us with one final burning question. What on earth happens when this powerful, righteous ruler comes face to face with the very brothers who once wronged him and sold him away? To find out exactly how that intense reunion unfolds, make sure to tune in to our next explainer. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep seeking knowledge.